Middle and East.
This is WeatherScope.
Well, it's a rather wet morning for a large portion of the Northeast on this Wednesday. Good morning and welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Bruce Edwards.
And I'm Cheryl Lemke. Now, some of you are starting to see a break, but at least for eastern Massachusetts, the rain continues. The morning rush hour has been a headache, especially in the Boston area, and you weren't alone. The New York City also had its fair share of the storm system. Now, what we see going on from our satellite perspective is that we have this big, broad area of low pressure that continues to twirl. It's coming out of the Ohio Valley and lifting across the Northeast, pulling in the moisture from off the Atlantic. And we're especially noticing some bright white clouds right here in southern New England. Well, that has shown us where we have some enhanced precipitation. Still some embedded thunderstorms and some very soggy weather coming in across New England at this time. Luckily, most of the really intense thunderstorms have died down, but still some thunderstorms clustered right across Cape Cod and Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard and extending back out towards the open waters. So this is making for a very tough day for traveling throughout the Northeast. All the moisture pulled in across the entire area. Some rains too back through the Ohio Valley. And in some places we've had some very heavy rainfall. Especially hard hit has been those of you in central Pennsylvania and on into Connecticut, likewise Rhode Island and eastern Massachusetts. We've had some reports of over 3 inches of rain. And with so much rain coming down, the ground is very moist, very saturated. Rivers and streams are quite swollen, and we have had reports of localized flooding. There's flood warnings right now for Union County in Pennsylvania, also for Bristol County in southeastern Massachusetts, and for Bristol and Newport counties back in through Rhode Island. So again, a very sloppy morning for traveling, just a tough time for traveling throughout the area. The good news, though, the storm system will slowly be working its way across the Northeast, so things will be improving somewhat across Pennsylvania and the Ohio Valley. Things will be improving, too, around New York City, although still for the evening rush hour, we're calling for more rains for those of you around Boston. Here's what's happening, though, this morning. We've had some rain coming in around New York City, close to 1 inch of rainfall overnight. Now just some light rain and drizzle persisting around the Big Apple. More rains, though, on into Boston. Heavy soaking rains through New Bedford and Bedford, Massachusetts. But then lighter rains, those we head back through the Ohio Valley on into Pittsburgh and around the Columbus area. Now, besides the precipitation, the storm system has also been producing some very stiff winds. Generally east and northeasterly winds buffeting the Northeast at this time, and we've had some wind gusts in excess of 35 to 40 miles per hour. So with that in mind, we still have gale warnings out across the northeastern shoreline. Watch out for some choppy waters and rough conditions. Mariners, certainly not the best of mornings for doing some boating or fishing across the northeastern shoreline. And the rains will be likely to last for a little while longer, especially on into Boston. A very sloppy day for traveling throughout this area. Farther to the north, though, this is where we have some colder air, so here we'll likely see some ice and some snow. We've had some frozen precipitation already this morning around Messina and around the St. Lawrence Seaway. And right on into western sections of Maine, you'll likely see some accumulating snows, maybe close to 6 inches of snowfall by tonight. So again, the northeast is getting hammered by some lousy weather, but for the southeast, vast improvements. High pressure now ridging in across the Gulf coastal area, so really nice compared to the yesterday morning's rush hour. Kind of quiet this morning, New Orleans and Atlanta, and not much happening either as we head over towards Florida. Now let's check out the weather across the rest of the country. Here's Bruce.
All right, thanks, Cheryl. Well, if you're getting up and around in the West Coast this morning, rain is going to be a concern for many of you again today. Oregon and Washington are getting rain right now, and by late tonight and tomorrow, it'll slip down into California. You'll be back under rainy skies. But in the upper Midwest, we have a little different problem. Not a major one, but a different one, and that is some snow. You see with the circulation of the cloud cover across the Dakotas, little upper level system right here, and this precipitation producing by this low is some snow. It even leaks down towards Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Now there's a storm Cheryl talked about slowly drifting east, but some of the wraparound moisture is bringing some rain to the Corn Belt, rain showers back to Iowa, starting to mix with snow as you get around Spencer, Iowa, but then up towards Sioux Falls and continuing on up towards Huron and back into Bismarck. We have a little bit of snow. Not a lot, just a little bit, but you can see it just circulating around that little upper level low here. So I-94, you're going to see a little bit of snow-covered highways here, and I-29 will have a little bit of snow as well. Nothing heavy. But we might see, perhaps an inch accumulation, but temperature's not bad at all. It's freezing in Sioux Falls and Bismarck and Minot. These are much warmer than average highs should be this time of year. It's 39 in Chicago, 41 in St. Louis, despite the clouds and occasional showers. 47 in the best location in the nation, Cleveland, Ohio. Unbelievably mild for this time of February. It's freezing in Denver, and even looking into the Rockies. You're talking, well, Cut Bank is 19, about one of the colder spots around. Reno at 26, San Francisco 48, 46 in L.A., and 44 in Portland, but there are some showers moving on shore right now. You can see one disturbance moving through here, and the next one is going to be coming in its wake. So we will see a continuation of moisture. You see it flowing on in towards Oregon, Northern California right now with the latest system. So we're seeing some showers. More substantial rain with the low will come a little later on, but by and large, California, you'll be okay. Your last storm, that is what's diving down into the southwest, bringing rain to Phoenix and Tucson. And Tucson Open playing a Pro-Am today. A little dicey this morning. It'll improve later this afternoon as the low pulls out and the rain tapers off. Here you can see along Interstate 5 from Seattle down to Portland. It is damp. Salem as well, Eugene, then a bit of a break heading down towards North Bend and working into California. Things